So we're getting into full gear for Final Fantasy 15.
Well, I'm excited.
And they've announced an anime and a CG movie. There's the game coming out, and Square's kind of done something in recent years. I don't know how successful it is, or I don't know how much I really need it, but some people really eat it up, where they will take the release of a game and they will create a world around it. The first time they did this was with Final Fantasy VII, and it was well after Final Fantasy VII had been released, and I believe it was called Chronicle of Final Fantasy VII or something like that. And it was when they decided they were going to release a prequel and a side story about some of the enemies on cell phones, and then they were going to release a follow-up movie, and then they released a shooter starring one of the characters. And it was to feed people more of what they wanted in the world that they liked without doing a remake or anything like that. They also called the collection of games that surrounded Final Fantasy 13, including Final Fantasy Type 0, something like Fabula Crystal Novalis or something like that, Story of the Crystal. And that was another universe as well, even though it didn't all interconnect. And now they're apparently doing it with Final Fantasy 15. The anime, I believe, is already out. You can start watching it. And Final Fantasy 15 looks to be a buddy road trip type of RPG game. I actually haven't played the demos. The battle system appears to be a bit action-based. I'm hoping that it's a little bit similar to Final Fantasy Type 0, because I love that game. My thought on this sort of thing, though, is I guess if you plan it out in advance like they're doing with Final Fantasy 15, they can make it all work cohesively. But it also has the potential to fail miserably. In my opinion, the Final Fantasy VII attempt was awful, because Final Fantasy VII was written as a game with a beginning and an end in 97 and done. And then they tried to shoehorn all this other stuff in that, honestly, you could have just let be what was there. So I don't know. I'll play the game, but I can't really get excited about all the extraneous side stuff.
The anime won't enrich the experience for you to play the game more, or the movie. The movie's going to be released digitally. So it won't be in theaters like the original.
Well, there's three. This will be the third movie they've done. You're thinking of Spirit Within.
Spirit Within from 2001, which the only reason I saw that in theaters and fell asleep in the theater was to see the Spider-Man teaser before that.
Then there was Advent Children, which was the Final Fantasy VII one.
Was that in theaters?
I don't believe it was. Or it probably got like a couple theatrical showings, but I know that one was blue. I think it did get theatrical showings in Japan. But yeah, that one was released to DVD and Blu-ray. So, I don't know. Final Fantasy to me hasn't really been the same since 9 or 10. This almost, in reality, this actually kind of makes sense, because they have become playable anime. There's less gameplay in each of these and more story, which for a certain subset of people, that's going to be great, and I don't hold that against them, but it's not exactly the type of game that I'm chomping at the bit to get my hands on.
Yeah, at this point, because they're probably using the same engine to render it out. You know what I mean? So what's the difference, right? Or yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the CG movie trailer. Yeah, it's probably the same as the cutscenes.
Close.
Maybe a little bit better.
A little crisper.
A little crisper. Kingsglaive? What? I can't even say that. Kingsglaive.
Can't remember if glaive is a weapon or a piece of armor.
There's a big guy in a suit with a sword running at an old guy in a beard. Explosions. Final Fantasy 15. All right, I have absolutely no love or hate for Final Fantasy. It's something I never got into.
You are nonplussed.
I'm nonplussed by it, which doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't.
It's been a long time since that used to be a word you used a lot.
Have I stopped using nonplussed?
It's kind of upsetting.
I gotta put that back in the.
I really felt like that was like a key word for you.
That was a key word for the Pat characteristic.
Yes, exactly.
For my personality.